Hello, my name is Voya and welcome to My Deep Guide. Well, today I'm going to be addressing a very exciting update for the Supernote X platform. This one has rolled out to both A5X and the A6X. We're talking about the update 2.6, which has added something that I requested about a year ago from any of the developers, and Supernote is the first one to actually implement it properly and almost fully to the extent that I was hoping as a platform would actually implement it. And I'm of course talking about the ability to insert links into your notebooks that will link to other pages in that notebook, other pages in other notebooks, other documents, web pages, and more. That is an incredibly powerful addition to an already very powerful platform. And for me, that's a complete game changer. But there's actually a little bit more that they've done with the update 2.6. Let's go through all of that and see what update 2.6 brings to the Supernote X platforms. Alright, and here we are with the A5X that's been updated to the 2.6 OS. So let's go through the list of features that they mention in their release notes. One of the first things are changes in the, I'm just going to use the horizontal one because it shows more icons. So one of the changes is basically the hand turning gesture icons have been restored to their previous look, as far as I understand, and improved. And one of the important additions is a new page turning mode, which is this one here, which is actually not a one-fingered swipe, but a one-fingered tap. So now you can actually tap to go page forward and page back. However, my preferred mode is the two-fingered swipe, because then you have absolutely no chance of accidentally triggering a page swipe mode with your palm. So that's something that I do prefer, but it's actually good to have that option added. The next thing is that the gesture settings have now all been collated in one place, and they are now in the More section of the toolbar. You access the More section by hitting these three dots here, and then you have gesture settings, and all of the gesture settings are explained, and the control for them is here. And those controls are the double tap the screen with two fingers to enter and exit the full screen mode. Then you have the page number bar, also single double tap to toggle the number bar. Return to page before jumping. What does that mean? When you actually go to a hyperlink, this is actually pretty cool. So especially in this setting with the My Daily Organizer. So let's say that I go to August, and okay, now he's telling me that. So from half and up, if you swipe, it's going to return to the original location where you went from. But we have another thing which is really cool. Let's say I go to August, then week 34, then I go to Sunday, and then I go to daily notes. You'll notice that at the bottom we have two icons, right? This one is to return all the way back to the top before you enter the first hyperlink in this chain that you were going in. And this one here is going to take you one step back at a time. So now I'm going to go back to here, back to the week, back to the month, and back to the year. So I think that this is a really, in MDO it really doesn't matter that much. In a handful of situations it's actually useful because everything else is hyperlinked. But in regular documents reading, this is a really powerful and a very useful feature to have, especially with the ability to just simply swipe up and go back. And the final one is the eraser, which is you hold two fingers and then you to enter the eraser mode. Another addition is in the navigation bar, which is basically where your contents, keywords, bookmarks, and annotations are. Previously, if you went to, let's say, your annotations and you want to see where your annotations are, and then you exited the navigation bar, and when you would return, it would always default back to the contents, right? Table of contents. But now it actually remembers what tab was your last setting, and each time you return, it actually remembers that. So it's a small but a very nice kind of comfort of life type type of an update in the version 2.6. And finally, they say that the calendar has been upgraded to the authorization protocol OAuth 2.0, which means that you need to update the device to the latest update if you want to perform Google Calendar authorization. Now, system-wide, they have several updates, fixes, improvements. First one is they say revised some inappropriate text on the device. I don't know what they mean, probably some translation things, but yeah, it's a good thing that they're paying attention to these things and that they are continually updating these things. Now, the sidebar has been updated previously, but this is also for people who haven't checked it out since 2.4, for example. The update, the sidebar is a little bit different and it has been organized in a different way, way better way. So first of all, there's no Supernote logo anymore. You have the settings bar here. There's no notes, documents, and things like that. You just go to files and then you choose if you want documents, you go to documents. If you want notes, you go to notes. So it's a far more organized way of dealing with things. Now, what are the new things that are being added? Well, the last opened note and the last opened document is now at your disposal here. So all you need to do is swipe down and then go to last opened note and it just goes back to it. And if I want to toggle back to the last document, you just swipe and go there. Now also in here we have the new note button, which is a very easy way to actually go. So you don't have to go to files and then note and then create a new note. You don't have to do that. You can actually go, let's go back to the root here. So you can actually just go new note and it's gonna immediately create a new note, and then you can configure the name of it and relocate it afterwards. So this is something that's a very kind of cool thing, because let's just see, let's go to recent files, let's go there, and maybe let's just power off or put the device to sleep. So right now the steps that you need, for example, from the device powered sleeping state, you just power it on, go here, tap new note, and bam, you're ready to write. So that's a very cool thing to see. In the synchronization section, they have added this reminder for the user that you need to tap the synchronize button in order to synchronize your notes and everything with the Supernote Cloud or the Dropbox. And basically that means you just swipe from the top down and you tap that icon. Not all users were aware of this, so it's a good idea to actually bring that, but it would be also a good idea to maybe add an option for those who might want it in the future, to have an auto sync option on document exit or a period or something like that. I don't know, but this is definitely a welcome thing to have for new users. And in the display input language, handwriting recognition language, they have added several new languages, they say. So you can add a language here and then you can swipe from a very kind of complete list of languages here. So I'm not going to tell you which all of them are there, but I'm going to list through them so you can pause and then you can see if the language that you are interested in is listed here and if it has been added to the Supernote handwriting recognition. And finally, two things that I haven't tested before, so there's no point in me testing them now because I don't have any comparative results, but two things that they've improved is that in Word documents, they say that the handwriting recognition speed has been improved, and also in notes, they say that the efficiency of sharing via the QR code has also been improved. Having never measured anything with these features before, I don't have a baseline to compare it to, but at least I'm kind of mentioning what they say in these release notes, what has been addressed. All right, so the big one that has been updated now in 2.6 with even more functionality is that Supernote A5X and A6X now support inserting links in your notebooks. And you can choose the link that you insert to link to another page in the current file, link to a page in another notebook, link to another page in another PDF document, link to another existing file, and link to a web page. Now this is something that I've been hoping that somebody would implement in some way, because productivity-wise, it's an absolute monster and a bombshell to actually have it implemented the way it is here. So the way that you add a link when you insert a link is from more options, and then you have this option here, insert link. So when you tap on it, you get a new pop-up with all of the options that you have. And first of all, you can choose what link title is going to say. So first of all, it can reference the file name itself. It can reference the full path, meaning the path to the document and the file name itself, or you can customize it to say anything that you want. Then you can choose the link style, which can be like underlined and the link. It can be squared or the rectangle around it, and it also has a dotted line rectangle around the link itself. So you can actually choose fairly nice kind of ways of customizing how your links are going to appear and how to easily differentiate and find them within the document. Then you can also choose link to another page in the current file, and then you have additional options, recent files, existing files, and recent files has been added in 2.6. Then you have link to existing files and link to an external web page. So let's cover all of these and see how they function, and then in the end we're going to export this and check it out. How does it work in the exported outside of the Supernote ecosystem? It is also worth mentioning that you can also use the lasso tool to just quickly add a hyperlink, which is by far the fastest way to actually deal with these things. So yeah, the hyperlink can be added this way, same way as you would normally through the menu. So first I'm going to test out the customize option here, and then it's going to tell me, hey, text to display. So the text to display for me, it will be my custom link. Very creative. So let's see if he's gonna, yeah, he figured it out very easily, easy peasy. All right, so then I'm gonna choose that it looks like this. And what do I want it to do? I want to link to another existing page, and I want to link it to page 3. Then I can hit OK. And another thing that they've added is that within this menu of adding, selecting the page that you want to link to, you also have an option to insert a new page. So for example, if you're writing and then you want to create a hyperlink to the next page, you can insert the page within the document, link to it, and then you start filling it out, which is really, really cool to see. So in this case, I want to link to page 3. I'm going to say OK. Now I can move it around, and let's place it somewhere around here. And now it's placed, and there we go. It's underlined. And if I tap on it, it should take me to the custom page. And also you have those jump back options because it's a hyperlink, right? What you're essentially doing is you're creating a hyperlink. So it's the same functionality, and it's very, very nice again and still to see this unification of the user interface and user experience, something that's actually not that often seen in, especially in more modern devices. This is something that's very, very mature and very, very needed in a device like this, that if you encounter an operation, hey, going from a link to somewhere else, how do I go back to it? Well, it works the same way. And that's a proper way to implement new functionalities and new features, and makes it easy for the users to adapt, to learn, and it's extremely intuitive to use. So very, very nice to see. One thing that we can't do is, can I now move it? Can I select it and move it? Let's see. So is it an object? Delete the lassoed link. Nope, I can't. So how can I move it? Can I press and move in any way? Nope. Can I draw over it? Nope. That's a thing as well to kind of keep in mind. Okay, so there's no way to move the link once you have placed it. That's something that I wish we could actually do, but with the lasso tool, you can actually just select and delete the link. So, all right, the current workflow would be if you want to change anything to the link, as in the style or move it, you can't. You have to delete it and you have to insert it again. Obviously something that should be improved, but as it is now, it's actually quite okay. It would be also cool if it could remember things from before, like what my titles were, but okay, let's say link to LNK. Let's go LINK. Let's choose the squared option, and I'm gonna now go to let's say recent files. Okay, and there is the list of my recent files. So let's link to another notebook. So let's see what happens if I just click OK. So now this link to is, let's go here and place it. Now it's locked. If I click on it, it's going to open up the notebook that I'm referencing to at its last opened page. Okay, and with the option of going back, last opened note, can I go back to it? Oh, so sorry, yeah, you can just go back here. So cool. All right, so let's see if I wanted to go to a specific page, for example, and let's go into to insert link. At this point, I would so like the option to customize the toolbar and hide the things that I don't want and add the link somewhere more accessible, so I don't have to go but all right, fine. Let's do dotted one, and let's test out the file name this time, and let's go into recent files. We had our workstation build notes, but this time I want to select the page in workstation build notes, and I want to go to page 1. So I go OK, there we go. And it actually tells you everything. So it tells you this is where we're linking to. We're going to workstation build notes.note page 1. And does it work? Yes, it does. It really, really does. And you can just go back to your original document. Very, very cool. So at this point, I'm going to start building up this document for exporting, testing the export features. So I actually want to link to another page in the same document. Let's add that one here. All right, then we're going to add another one for another document, and this time let's do a full path and see how that looks like. So recent files, let's do the one that we've done already. So page 1 on the workstation. All right, so that's a fairly long link, but that's actually quite cool because sometimes that is very much needed. So all right, then we have this one, and now let's test some more stuff. Let's see, linking to a document. So let's go link to a specific page in a document, and let's now choose to select file, and it would be good. Let's go and see existing files. Do I have an option of browsing? Yes, I do. All right, so one of the big differences between recent files. So in recent files, I don't have the breadcrumbs trail of the location in the directory structure. I just have the list of recent files. So if you want to navigate via directories, you need to go to the existing file. The functionality seems to be exactly the same. So let's go to Supernote, document, and let's choose something from Alesis Ion, and let's select a page on here, or select from the overview of this file. Let's try that because I don't know which page number exactly I want. So let's see. Oh, so nice. So now I can just go like, okay, so the page that I'm looking for is actually this one. This is the one that I want. So I'm gonna say okay. Now this is also added. At this point I could have okay, at this point I could have changed the style. I keep forgetting to change the style, but all right, we have another one to test out. And let's see, how does this work? Yep, opens up the document, goes to it, and everything's fine, and I can just go back here and we're back to the master document. Oh my God, I love this thing so much. It's amazing. It's literally like a little dream come true. It's amazing. All right, now let's insert another link, and this time to a web page, and let's change the style. Finally, let's change the style, and let's go web page, and we're gonna go to mydeepguide.com. All right, that is good. So we're gonna go OK. He's gonna give me this, and this should be underlined when I'm done. Yes, underlined style. Now, does this mean that we have a web browser? Yes, we do. So you can actually access web pages directly on your Supernote. Now, your browser is no longer supported. Okay, except. So that's something that should be updated, I believe, because this is. Yeah, so let's go to an Edge and see what we can do. Can we actually download and do anything about this? Not quite. All right, so that part obviously doesn't function on the Supernote, and that's something that would need to be fixed. Well, actually, let me just double check. All right, so let me just go to the apps here, and let's see. My apps, I don't have Supernote App Store, only Kindle. So it would be nice that you don't force people to actually sideload APKs and things like that, but to actually offer the updated browser versions that do function on the Supernote if there is that browser functionality that's added there. So let's go back to last opened note. So good stuff. But we'll check that out and see if it hyperlinks properly to a website when you're outside of the Supernote environment. So I already know what to expect when I export this because they explain it. And they say that links in PDFs converted from a note file will still work, but only the links that point to other pages in the same document or web pages. So what I'm expecting to see is that when I export this as a PDF, I expect this link to work, this one shouldn't work, this one shouldn't work, and this one should work, right? So web pages and hyperlinks within the same document. And that's fine for the beginning, but what would be really fantastic is if they would add an export project option, for example, which would export the master document, in this case this notebook as a PDF, and create a folder as well, where all of the dependent documents and notes would also be exported to. And that way, it would convert the hyperlinks and things like that to point towards the local directory. So that way, it would be possible to actually export a fully functional hierarchy of documents, essentially becoming a project thing. Just imagine that you can have one master notebook, you reference to all of these things while you're doing your, I don't know, systems development or project development or research study or anything like that, where you have tons of references to all of these kinds of things, and then just hit export, and this service is able to collect it all and export it, and you would have like the master file, right, which would be your exported PDF notebook, and an accompanying folder which contains all of the referenced material, PDFs. If it's a notebook, it's exported as a notebook and referenced, and all of the links within the master file are also translated to actually, so that it knows that it's no longer looking for these paths, but it's actually checking the local folder here, which would be absolutely fantastic. Now, that's a lot of work. That's not an easy thing to do, but it is certainly possible because all of the building blocks are there, but you need a logic system that would actually be able to collect everything, collate it, and exchange the, for example, full paths. They need to be exchanged to an appropriate path of a local one, and also to exchange all of the hyperlinks to a way that the file knows that it's looking for the folder of a specific name in the same folder where it is located. So that would be a very easy thing to actually just say it would look for my local path, and then all of the hyperlinks will become local path plus the name of the folder and then the rest of the stuff that was there. So it's certainly possible to do. Quite a bit of work and quite a bit of testing needs to go into it, but just imagine the power of this. Already now it's incredibly powerful, but if you had this, it would be an absolute game changer. Even as it is now, I think this is a game changer. We gotta see how the book's linking functions, but I don't think that it's as powerful as this. I haven't tested it, but from what I've read in their features, it doesn't say that it's this powerful. This already is really freaking awesome. But if they would actually be able to add this one step and then export as a project, that is a complete game changer then for the Supernote platform, because then as far as the grown-up kind of environment and platform goes, it becomes its own thing. There's nobody who can even get close to what this functionality would actually offer, especially in a professional setting, because I can't even begin to describe to you how much this functionality, already as it is, how much that means to me in my daily work and in my design. And this feature alone is now definitely making me rethink my Note Air 1 for the very first time, because now we have the landscape mode working properly and you have these hyperlinks. I mean, that is absolutely amazing. So what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to wait for the oh, the magnet is getting it to sleep in the pen. That's why he's going to sleep. So what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to wait until my Note Air 1 actually receives the latest update where you have the books hyperlinking, and see how that works. And unless it can actually do this, then I'm probably going to be switching to the Supernote, mainly because of the combined functionalities. And this would be the game changer for me that makes me want to change to the other platform, because simply this is outstanding. This is absolutely outstanding. And again, if this whole thing, the project thing would be added, that would be like the most amazing thing ever. So yeah, I usually try to remain, you know, kind of calm and all kind of reserved, but every so often from a different producer and a different device, you encounter something that's just too exciting to not be excited when doing a review, and this is one of those moments. I absolutely am blown away by this simplicity of how it's been integrated and all of these things. Now, one thing, currently you can only add links in Notes. Now, what would be also really good is if they would add the ability to link to the PDF files as well, the exact same functionality and all of that kind of stuff. So, and also to Word documents and across the platform. So if you are able to actually add it to a PDF, to a PDF or to a Word document, then this functional and adding the whole project thing, that would be absolutely glorious. But even as it is now, yeah, pretty freaking sweet. So final stuff that they have is something that I'm not going to show, but it's just fixes. And they say that you have the proofreader's marks were mistakenly recognized as text before. That has been fixed. Handwriting anti-aliasing was not working after a device restart. That was also fixed. And when a target page of a link was selected from overview, the thumbnail page didn't match the page number. However, as we've seen in this example, this has obviously been fixed because it worked properly. And the latest update 2.6 is already available on the A6X as well, with the same exact functionalities that I've already covered and shown. And as you can see, you can also go here and then insert link and do all of the things that we've talked about. Well, okay, as I've said in the intro, I was hoping for something like this, and now they've actually implemented it, and it looks and works amazing. This actually transforms the Supernote into a true powerhouse. And as I mentioned in the video, the only thing that I'm currently missing is the export project type of functionality, where it would be possible for the Supernote to actually export the master notebook, which contains all of the links, and then in a folder it would automatically export all of the dependencies, which means the referenced PDF documents, EPUBs, or whatever files there may be, even if they're images or whatever it may be, so that everything is basically collated in this one thing. And then you would have this unbelievably powerful thing in a Supernote device. Because just imagine, for project design, for research projects, for things like that, that you can actually gather all of that, and you have one central hub as a document that then just leads throughout everything, and you can send that out, bless you Indy sneezed, and then you just export that as a project and share to anyone else, or you continue working in the on another platform. That is really a game changer, at least as far as I'm concerned, professionally, even privately as well, but especially professionally. That is something that's really, really powerful. Now, Books has added in their latest update some kind of linking support, but I haven't been able to actually test it out properly because none of my existing devices that I have, so the Note Air 1 and the Nova Air 1, neither of the two have yet received the latest update, but they are supposed to actually receive it sometime soon, these platforms. So I'll be able to test that out and actually compare it to how the Supernote linking performance and functionality is, and then we'll see how they stack up. Unfortunately, of course, Remarkable doesn't have anything like that, and no other platforms have actually reached that level yet. So to the best of my knowledge, I think it's only the Books and Supernote that have ventured into that territory, but the Supernote definitely has the upper hand because from what I've read, I don't think that the Books update offers as much functionality as the Supernote platform does. And on top of that, you have optimizations, improvements, fixes, and all of these things added to the Supernote, and they just keep getting more and more and more out of this device and out of this platform. And I think that's just, again, in 2022, an incredible value for users who are actually using the A5X. And the Supernote team, in my book at least, they've done it again because they keep just raising the bar. And if you were to compare the Supernote A5X with its first version when it came out and this one here, it just feels like a completely new device. And yes, the initial price of the Supernote is expensive because of the shipping and import taxes, and the base device is pricey. But what they are doing with their software development, support, and everything that they're doing, I think that you really, really get the value